Hey everyone, welcome Multiverse. Today we will talk about Spider-Man. Let's start video.
Evolution of Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 2002. Peter Parker is a shy high school student living in New York on a school trip. He is bitten by a genetically modified spider and soon discovers he has gained superhuman ability, strength, agility, and the ability to cling to walls and shoot webs. As Peter discovers his powers, enhanced strength, agility, the ability to stick to walls, and web shooting, he initially uses them for personal gain. However, after failing to stop a thief who later kills his Uncle Ben, Peter learns the painful lesson that with great power comes great responsibility. Meanwhile, Norman Osborn, the father of Peter's best friend Harry, becomes the villain Green Goblin after testing a dangerous performance-enhancing serum on himself. The film follows Peter's journey as he embraces his role as Spider-Man and battles the Green Goblin to save New York City and those he loves, especially Mary Jane Watson. The movie ends tragically with Norman's death and Peter rejecting Mary Jane's love to protect her, committing fully to his life as Spider-Man. Next, Spider-Man 2 to Peter. Parker is struggling to balance his life as a college student and as Spider-Man. Because of his dual life, he begins to lose control over his powers. Meanwhile, Dr. Otto Octavius, a brilliant scientist, becomes a dangerous villain named Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, after a failed experiment. Doc Ock builds a dangerous fusion reactor and threatens the city. Peter, initially giving up his Spider-Man identity to live a normal life, realizes he must accept his responsibility. He returns as Spider-Man, battles Doc Ock, and convinces him to sacrifice himself to stop the destruction. At the same time, Mary Jane discovers Peter's secret identity and chooses to be with him despite the danger. Harry Osborn, Peter's best friend, learns Spider-Man's identity and starts to plan revenge for his father's death, Green Goblin, from the first film. Next, Spider-Man 3. Peter Parker is finally enjoying life. He plans to propose to Mary Jane, and the city celebrates Spider-Man as a hero. But things soon fall apart when multiple enemies arise. Harry Osborn, now the new Goblin, wants revenge on Peter for his father's death. Flint Marko, an escaped convict, becomes Sandman after a scientific accident. He is revealed to be Uncle Ben's true killer. A strange black alien substance bonds with Peter, creating the black suit, which enhances his powers but also brings out his dark side. As Peter becomes arrogant and aggressive, he ruins his relationship with Mary Jane and embarrasses Eddie Brock, a rival photographer. Eddie eventually bonds with the alien symbiote and becomes Venom. In the final battle, Spider-Man teams up with Harry to fight Venom and Sandman. Harry sacrifices himself to save Peter. Peter forgives Sandman, and Venom is destroyed. The film ends with Peter and Mary Jane reuniting, trying to heal and move forward together. In the final act, Venom teams up with Sandman to take down Spider-Man. Peter gets unexpected help from Harry, who regains his memory and chooses to fight alongside Peter. Next, The Amazing Spider-Man 2012. Directed by Mark Webb. Main cast: Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker, Spider-Man Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy Reese, Ifans as Dr. Kurt Connors, the Lizard. Peter Parker is a high school student living with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben after being abandoned by his parents. While searching for clues about his father's past, Peter discovers a briefcase that leads him to Oscorp and Dr. Kurt Connors, his father's former partner. While exploring Oscorp, Peter sneaks into a lab and gets bitten by a genetically engineered spider. Soon, he begins developing superhuman abilities like strength, speed, agility, and the ability to cling to surfaces. Peter initially uses his powers for personal gain, but after Uncle Ben is tragically killed, he decides to use them for good and becomes Spider-Man. Dr. Connors, desperate to regrow his missing arm, uses a serum based on reptilian DNA and transforms into a giant, dangerous creature called the Lizard. He begins terrorizing the city with a plan to turn all humans into lizard-like creatures. Spider-Man must stop him while also maintaining his secret identity and protecting the people he loves, especially Gwen Stacy, his classmate and love interest. In the climax, Spider-Man fights the Lizard at Oscorp Tower and manages to stop Pym with the help of Gwen. Dr. Connors returns to human form and saves Peter, hinting that he wasn't fully evil. The movie ends with Peter trying to balance his responsibility as Spider-Man and his growing relationship with Gwen, even though her father, a police captain, dies during the battle and asks Peter to stay away from her to keep her safe. Next, The Amazing Spider-Man 2-2014. Peter Parker continues to fight crime in New York as Spider-Man, but he's haunted by the promise he made to Gwen Stacy's father to stay away from her for her safety. Still, Peter and Gwen remain deeply in love, though their relationship becomes strained. Peter is also investigating the mystery of his parents' disappearance and their connection to Oscorp. Meanwhile, Max Dillon, a lonely electrical engineer at Oscorp, accidentally falls into a tank of electric eels and transforms into Electro, a powerful villain who can control electricity. He becomes obsessed with Spider-Man after a misunderstanding, and turns violent. At the same time, Peter's childhood friend Harry Osborn returns, seeking a cure for a genetic disease that killed his father. He believes Spider-Man's blood could save him, but Peter refuses, fearing it could worsen Harry's condition. Enraged, Harry finds Electro and the two team up. Eventually, Harry uses a special serum from Oscorp and transforms into the Green Goblin. He discovers Spider-Man's identity and attacks him by targeting Gwen. In the tragic climax, Spider-Man battles Harry while Gwen falls from a clock tower. Peter tries to save her using his web, but he's too late. Gwen dies from the impact. Devastated, Peter quits being Spider-Man for a while, but inspired by Gwen's graduation speech and a young boy who idolizes him, he returns to protect the city. The film ends with Spider-Man facing Rhino, teasing more villains, but those sequels were never made. Next, Captain America, Civil War. In this film, Tom played the role of Spider-Man for the first time. Fans liked him a lot. To strengthen his side, Tony Stark Iron Man visits a young, brilliant teenager named Peter Parker in Queens, New York. Peter is already secretly fighting crime as Spider-Man, though he's inexperienced and using a homemade suit. Tony, impressed by Peter's abilities and intelligence, recruits him and gives him a high-tech Spider-Man suit. This moment marks official entry into the MCU. In the famous airport battle, Spider-Man fights alongside Team Iron Man. He uses his wit, agility, and web powers impressively, even fighting big names like Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Ant-Man, whom he calls that really big guy. Letho young and new to the superhero world, Spider-Man proves himself in battle but gets injured by Captain America and is eventually pulled out of the fight by Tony for his safety. The movie ends with Peter returning to New York, hinting that his journey is just beginning, setting the stage for his solo film, Spider-Man: Homecoming 2017.
He also said to go for your legs.
Stark tell you anything else?
That you're wrong You think you're right? It makes you dangerous.
Next, Spider-Man: Homecoming. After the events of Captain America: Civil War, teenager Peter Parker returns home to Queens, New York, trying to balance his high school life and his new role as Spider-Man, eager to prove himself worthy of being an Avenger. Peter keeps reaching out to Tony Stark, Iron Man, who tells him to stay grounded and handle smaller problems for now. Tony has given Peter a new advanced Spider-Man suit with many features, but keeps close tabs on him. Meanwhile, a man named Adrian Toomes, who was once a cleanup contractor, has turned to crime after losing his job post-Avengers battle. Using alien technology salvaged from past conflicts, he becomes the Vulture and builds high-tech weapons to sell on the black market. BTU stumbles upon Vulture's operations and tries to stop him, but he's still inexperienced and often messes up, including nearly sinking a ferry full of passengers. Tony Stark steps in and saves the day, later taking away Peter's suit to teach him a lesson. Peter goes back to being a regular high school student and even asks his crush, Liz, to the homecoming dance. But in a shocking twist, he discovers that Liz's father is Adrian Toomes' Vulture. Realizing Vulture's next move, Peter decides to stop him without his suit, using only his homemade costume and courage. In a final battle, he prevents Vulture from stealing more tech and even saves his life, proving he's more than just a suit. In the end,
I'll take those! No, wait! Hey guys, the illegal weapons deal fair was at 10:30. You missed it!
next, Avengers: Infinity War 2018. Peter Parker is on a school trip in New York City when he sees a strange spaceship hovering above the skyline. Instinctively, he puts on his Spider-Man suit and joins Tony Stark, Iron Man, to investigate the threat. The spaceship belongs to Ebony Maw, one of Thanos' lieutenants, who is attempting to kidnap Doctor Strange and steal the Time Stone. Peter helps fight the aliens and ends up aboard the spaceship, despite Tony's warnings. Inside, Peter officially becomes part of the mission. Impressed by his bravery, Tony gives him the Iron Spider suit, which is more advanced and equipped with mechanical legs. Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange fly to Titan, Thanos' ruined home planet, where they team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, including Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis, and Nebula. Together, they try to stop Thanos before he collects all 6 Infinity Stones. They come very close to defeating Thanos, but the plan fails when Star-Lord loses control after learning that Thanos killed Gamora. Thanos breaks free and defeats the team. When Thanos finally collects all 6 Infinity Stones and snaps his fingers, half of all life in the universe vanishes instantly. This is known as the blip or the snap. In one of the film's most emotional scenes, Spider-Man begins to fade into dust. He tells Tony Stark, "I don't feel so good," and collapses into his arms, scared and apologizing. Tony watches helplessly as Peter disintegrates, leaving fans heartbroken. Spider-Man's fate: Spider-Man dies in Infinity War due to the snap, but returns in Avengers Endgame 2019, when the heroes reverse Thanos' actions.
What's up, Mr. Stark?
Kid, where'd you come from?
A field trip to Nova! What is this guy's problem, Mr. Stark?
Next, Avengers Endgame 2019 *. During the final battle, all the heroes who were lost, including Spider-Man, return through Doctor Strange's portals. Spider-Man swings in with the other heroes and fights alongside the Avengers against Thanos and his army. He helps keep the Infinity Gauntlet safe and tries to take it across the battlefield. At one point, Captain Marvel helps him when he's overwhelmed. In one of the most emotional moments, Spider-Man reunites with Tony Stark. Excited and unaware how much time has passed for Peter, it felt like just a few minutes since he was gone. But at the end of the battle, Iron Man sacrifices himself by using the gauntlet to destroy Thanos and his army. Peter is devastated and has an emotional goodbye with Tony as he dies. Final scenes: Peter attends Tony Stark's funeral with tears in his eyes. He later returns to high school and reunites with his best friend, Ned, setting up the next chapter in Spider-Man: Far From Home 2019.
Is that everyone? What, you wanted more?
Avengers!
Next, Spider-Man, Far From Home 2019. Far From Home takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame. The world is still recovering from Iron Man's death, and Peter Parker is deeply affected by the loss of his mentor, Tony Stark. School. Trip to Europe. Peter wants a break from superhero duties and goes on a school trip across Europe with his classmates. He plans to confess his feelings to MJ during the trip, but his vacation is interrupted when Nick Fury recruits him to help fight mysterious elemental creatures that are attacking cities. Enter Mysterio. Peter meets a new superhero named Quentin Beck, also known as Mysterio, who claims to be from another Earth multiverse. Beck becomes a trusted ally and even fights by Peter's side. After defeating one of the elemental threats, Peter feels that Beck is more qualified to be a hero. He gives him Tony Stark's special glasses, EDITH, which control powerful technology that Tony left for Pete. The truth revealed, but Peter soon learns that Mysterio is a fraud. He's not from another Earth, he's a former Stark Industries employee who uses illusions, drones and tech to pretend to be a hero and gain global trust. Goal is to become the world's greatest superhero by faking threats and making himself look like a savior. He plans to kill Peter and take full control of Stark's technology. Final battle. Peter regains his confidence and, with help from Happy Hogan, creates a new Spider-Man suit. He confronts Mysterio in London, where the villain uses massive drones and illusions in a dramatic final fight. Using his Peter Tingle Spidey sense, Spider-Man sees through the illusions and defeats Mysterio. Beck is fatally wounded, but, before dying, he tricks the world one last time. Mid-credit shocker. In a shocking twist, Mysterio reveals Spider-Man's real identity to the world through a fake video, making it look like Peter killed him. The video is released by J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, and the movie ends with Peter in total shock. Next, Spider-Man, No Way Home 2021. The story picks up right after Far From Home. Spider-Man's identity has been revealed to the world by Mysterio, and Peter Parker's life is in chaos. The media attacks him, his friends are targeted, and he's treated as a criminal. Desperate to fix everything, Peter goes to Doctor Strange and asks him to cast a spell to make everyone forget he's Spider-Man. But during the spell, Peter keeps interfering and it goes wrong. The multiverse breaks. The failed spell breaks open the multiverse, causing people from other universes who know Spider-Man's identity to enter the MCU. This brings back villains from previous Spider-Man universes: Dr. Octopus Tobey Maguire's universe, Green Goblin, Tobey Maguire's universe, Sandman, Electro, Andrew Garfield's universe, the Lizard. Doctor Strange wants to send them back to their universes, where most of them will die. But Peter wants to save them instead of letting them die. Trying to fix the villains, Peter steals Strange's magic box and traps him. Then, he tries to cure the villains and give them a second chance. He starts with success, fixing Doc Ock's chip, but Green Goblin betrays them, unleashing chaos. In the battle, Aunt May dies, telling Peter, "With great power comes great responsibility." The other Spider-Men arrive. Peter is broken. MJ and Ned accidentally open a portal using Doctor Strange's ring, and two other Spider-Men appear. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from the original trilogy, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man series. They comfort Tom Holland's Peter and share their own painful stories. The three Spider-Men team up to cure the villains together. Final battle, Statue of Liberty. A massive final battle takes place at the Statue of Liberty, one by one. They cure the villains, but Green Goblin returns and causes massive destruction. In an emotional scene, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saves MJ, redeeming himself for failing to save Gwen in his own universe. Tom Holland's Peter nearly kills Green Goblin in rage, but Tobey's Spider-Man stops him, showing mercy. The final sacrifice, to fix the multiverse. Peter tells Doctor Strange to cast a new spell, this time, make everyone forget Peter Parker ever existed. Strange agrees. The multiverse is healed, and everyone, including MJ and Ned, forget who Peter is. Ending, he visits MJ and Ned, but doesn't reveal himself.
Give me the box.
No. Whoa.
Isso, tell me, which Spider-Man is your like? Subscribe. Next evolution comments. Watch video.